beautiful, beautiful, yeah. Welcome to the realm. Beautiful, 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 yeah. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Shaking up the world one mind at a time while loving on it with one soul and a rhyme. Cause I got it my way and every day is a Friday. So we can't get fired in this piece. Why? Because we own these streets. See? Beautiful, 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 yeah, yeah. Shaking up the world one mind at a time and loving on it one soul and a rhyme. Cause I got it my way and every day is just like a Friday, baby. So we can't get fired in this piece. Welcome to the realm. Because we own these. Now let's get it. What's goody, Trump? Welcome back for another page of the Founder's Journal. What's goody, Trump? If you have seen any of my earlier creations, family, then you already know that I'm a lover of the open road. Travel, road trips, exploration, camping, overlanding, getting in the vehicle and watching the environment change around me. I've been fascinated with that shit for years. And it wasn't always about vacation. There has always been something about movement that does something to me. Listen. New environments wake up different parts of my brain. I think differently. I notice differently. I create differently. I ask different questions. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm looking for. I just know I gotta go. And lately, I've realized something. The open road never left me. Life just required me to park for a while. The original dream. For a long time, one of my dreams was van life. Not necessarily the polished Instagram version of shit. I was fascinated by the freedom of it. Having what you need with you. Being able to travel, explore, create, wake up somewhere different, live with less, spend more time outside. Let the world become part of your environment instead of experiencing most of it through a screen. And eventually, that curiosity expanded. Van life became camping, camping became overlanding, overlanding became expeditions, expeditions became field research. And now, I'm beginning to understand that what I was attracted to all those years ago wasn't necessarily a van. It was the capability of van represented. Freedom of movement, environmental independence, curiosity, exploration, self-sufficiency, the ability to take my creative life with me. That dream has changed form several times, but the desire underneath it, that motherfucker never went anywhere. Then life happened. But dreams don't exist outside of responsibility. Life changed. Priorities changed. Family responsibilities changed. financial realities changed. And there were seasons where exploring the world simply couldn't be the priority. I had to consolidate. I had to adapt. I had to focus on stability. I had to work with the environment I actually had instead of constantly thinking about the environment I wanted. And I think there was a period where I interpreted that as getting farther away from the dream. Now, I don't think that's what happened at all. I think the dream was maturing within me. The dream wasn't dead. That's one of the things I've been learning from Founder Stewardship. Not every dream that gets delayed has been denied. And not every dream you're called back toward needs to return in its original form. Sometimes life gives you enough distance to finally understand what you actually want from the thing. Maybe I didn't need van life. Maybe I needed mobility. Maybe I didn't need the permanently living on the road. Maybe I needed the ability to deploy into the world when curiosity called. Maybe I didn't want to escape responsibility. Nah, maybe I wanted to design a life where responsibility and exploration could coexist. That's a completely different dream. And honestly, it fits the man I am becoming considerably better than the original fantasy ever could. Movement as research. Because now, when I think about traveling, I don't think, where do I want to go? I think, what could I learn there? What happens to my creativity in the mountains? What happens to my thinking near the ocean? What does solitude reveal? What does unfamiliar terrain reveal? What does primitive camping teach me? What happens when technology and nature coexist instead of competing? What happens when I take the Founder's Journal out of the room and into the world? What happens when the environment itself becomes part of the experiment? Now we're getting somewhere, damn it. Because suddenly traveling isn't separate from ME. Traveling becomes part of the research. The world can become the studio. I've spent a lot of time thinking about studios, workshops, offices, creative spaces, places designed specifically for making shit. And I love those environments, man, so much, man. They do something to my soul. But I'm beginning to realize that I don't necessarily need a permanent room for every capability me wants to possess. Sometimes, the environment can expand around the capability. A table becomes a studio, or a door, and some horseshoes. The campsite becomes an office. A forest becomes a laboratory. A vehicle becomes transportation, storage, shelter, and infrastructure. A camera turns an expedition into documentation. A journal turns experiences into evidence. And suddenly, the world itself starts becoming part of the creative studio. That idea does something to my soul. The expedition dream. Now I'm deliberately not showing y'all everything I'm thinking. I can't do all that, you know what I'm saying? I gotta keep a little something in my little pocket, you know what I mean? Because some ideas need time underground. Show the evidence. Protect the blueprint. But I can tell you this. I've been thinking deeply about what it would look like to build a life where ME can move through different environments while still having access to the capabilities I need to create, research, build, document, and live. I'm fascinated by leverage. How little infrastructure do I actually need to establish useful capabilities somewhere in the present? How efficiently can I move? How much can one object do? What needs to travel with me? What should stay behind? What should be permanent? What should deploy only when necessary? And how can the environment itself provide part of what I need? Those questions have been consuming me lately. And I'm letting them, because obsession has taught me some valuable shit over the years. Sometimes obsession is simply curiosity refusing to leave until you investigate it. Stewardship doesn't always mean staying. And that's where this connects back to the last page. I've been thinking about stewardship through the lens of property, home, responsibility, preservation, stability. But stewardship doesn't automatically mean remaining stationary. Sometimes stewardship means protecting the home. Sometimes it means improving the home. And sometimes it means leaving long enough to return differently. That's something I'm exploring, because I don't want a life built entirely around escaping responsibilities. Nah, G. But I also don't want responsibility to become an excuse for never experiencing the world. There has to be a relationship between roots and range, home and expedition, stability and movement, responsibility and curiosity, building and exploring. Maybe the goal isn't choosing one. Maybe it's learning how to steward both. I don't want to conquer the world. And there's another part of this dream that changes. I don't want to travel somewhere just to say, yeah, I've been there. ME was here. Mr. Ellison done touched these grounds. Nah, G. I want to experience places, observe them, learn from them, understand how they work. Spend enough time somewhere that the environment actually has an opportunity to teach me something. That means slowing down, walking, sitting, listening, watching sunlight move, watching weather change, learning terrain, learning myself inside unfamiliar terrain, leaving responsibly. Because exploration doesn't have to mean conquest. It can mean relationship. And maybe that's another form of stewardship. Founder relation and reflection. I used to think the dream was get on the road. Now I'm realizing the road was never really the destination. The road is the classroom, a laboratory, a reset button, a creative environment, a bridge between visions and versions of me. And maybe that's why the desire never disappeared. Because the dream wasn't actually about ME running away. It was asking ME to go experience more life. Then bring something back. A story, a lesson, an artifact, an idea, a question, a piece of myself I hadn't encountered yet. That's an expedition worth taking, if you ask me. And then something else happened. But here's the funny part. After all this thinking about movement, expeditions, travel, building, exploring, doing, I went somewhere recently and discovered something I wasn't really looking for. I stopped. No major mission. No giant production. No constant building, just nature, a campsite, some food, my thoughts, and time. And somewhere in that stillness, I realized that maybe the next lesson wasn't about me and how far in me could go. Maybe it was about whether in me knew how to receive the place once I got there. Because what good is building freedom if you don't know how to experience it? Come on now. What good is designing a life that gives you room to breathe if every time you finally get room, you immediately fill it with more work? Yeah, that one got me too, y'all. Finally, the open road never left me. Mr. Ellison, M.E. I don't think it ever will. There are still places I want to see, things I want to build, environments I want to study, questions I want to follow, adventures I haven't even imagined yet. But maybe learning to travel isn't only about learning how to move. Maybe it's also learning when to stop, to sit, to observe, to breathe, to appreciate what you've already reached, to let the environment pour something back into you. Because sometimes the expedition isn't asking me, Mr. Ellison, to accomplish anything. Sometimes the assignment is simply to arrive. And that brings me to the next page. A state park, a car camping setup, a little bit of Florida, and a lesson I didn't know I needed. Rest and receive. I'll see you there. Until the next page, keep exploring, keep learning, keep building. Leave the evidence, protect the blueprint. And as always, all love, tribe. Cause I got it my way, and every day is just like a Friday, baby. So we can't get fired in this piece. Welcome to the room. Because we own these. Now let's get it.